All right, so imagine you're exploring the Pacific Ocean, like way down deep, and you come across what looks like a paved road.
A road at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, seriously. And not just any road, it kind of looks like a yellow brick road.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
I know, right? Sounds crazy, but this is exactly what happened to some researchers aboard the EV Nautilus.
The Nautilus. Weren't they mapping the seafloor around that, Liliuokalani Ridge?
You got it, part of that huge Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument.
Ah, PMNM. I can see why you shortened that.
Right, so they're down there thousands of meters deep, and bam, they find this formation that looks like a road.
So was it like an actual road made of yellow bricks? Did they find Atlantis or something?
Haha, not quite Atlantis, but it's still super cool. So it turns out it's actually a natural rock formation. It's made of something called hyaloclastite.
Hyaloclastite.
Yeah, it's this volcanic rock that forms when lava erupts underwater and cools super fast.
Oh, right. I've heard of that. So not a road to Atlantis, then.
No, not Atlantis. But get this, the way this hyaloclastite cracked, it formed these rectangular shapes.
I'm picturing it. Almost like paving stones.
Exactly. And that's what makes it look like a paved road, is from a process called columnar jointing.
Oh, yeah, columnar jointing, right. That happens when rock goes through those extreme heating and cooling cycles.
You know it. Basically, nature just went and made these paving stones on the ocean floor.
That is pretty wild. Nature's an amazing architect.
It really is. And what's even cooler is that this same process, this columnar jointing, is responsible for some pretty famous landmarks we see on land.
Really? Like what?
Well, think of the Giant's Causeway in Ireland.
Oh, right, with those hexagonal columns.
Yes, or Devil's Postpile in California. Those iconic columns all form the same way.
So the same forces that shaped those incredible landscapes are also down there shaping the ocean floor. Wow, that puts it into perspective.
Right. I'm starting to see why this discovery is so exciting. It's like these hidden roads are connecting us to those iconic places.
I see what you mean. It's a great example of how things that seem totally unrelated are actually, well, connected.
Totally. And this road is just the beginning. You know, PMNM is absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's huge, right? Bigger than all the U.S. national parks combined.
You go to get this, only like 3% of it has actually been mapped.
Wait, so we've barely scratched the surface of this place. There could be all sorts of crazy stuff down there.
Exactly. It just makes you wonder what else could be hidden down there in those uncharted depths.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This discovery just shows how much we still don't know about our own planet, especially the deep ocean.
It's like we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own ocean floor.
It's true. And that's why discoveries like this are so important. They remind us that there's still so much to explore right here on Earth. It's a whole other world down there.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. This is why I love these deep dives. We start with this mysterious underwater road, and look where we end up.
That's the beauty of it. You never know where these explorations will lead.
So let's talk about the science behind this road. What can we actually learn from it, apart from the fact that nature is an awesome architect?
Well, for one thing, it helps us understand how lava behaves under immense pressure. Remember, this formation's almost 3,000 meters deep.
That's deep.
It is. And studying these cracks and patterns can help scientists figure out how the Earth's crust forms.
Whoa, so it's not just about cool-looking rocks. We're talking about the very foundation of our planet.
Exactly. And there's more. This discovery also gives us clues about deep-sea hydrothermal systems, which are kind of like underwater hot springs.
Underwater hot springs, what are those all about?
Well, these vents are super important because they support whole ecosystems that thrive in conditions most life forms couldn't handle.
Wait, so you're telling me there's life down there, in the pitch black, under all that pressure, living off of these hot vents?
It's hard to believe, I know, but it's true. And it's one of the most fascinating things about this discovery.
That's insane. Okay, hold on. We've gone from a mysterious road to the Earth's crust, and now alien ecosystems fueled by underwater volcanoes. My mind is blown.
It's a lot to take in. But that's what makes these discoveries so exciting. We start with a simple observation, a road on the ocean floor, and it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
All right, I'm ready for more. So what are some of the things scientists are still trying to figure out about these underwater roads?
Well, one big question is how these formations affect those hydrothermal vent ecosystems. We know they can channel the flow of hot water, but how does that affect the nutrients and chemicals that support life? What kind of environments do these cracks create? It's a whole new area of research.
It sounds like we're only just scratching the surface of what we can learn from this discovery. It's amazing to think how one little road can lead to so many questions.
Absolutely. And remember, this road was found in a tiny part of PMNM, which itself is just a tiny part of the ocean. Makes you realize how much more is out there waiting to be discovered.
It does. Makes me even more curious about what else might be hidden down there. But I think we need to take a step back for a second and appreciate the scale of what we're talking about. PMNM is huge, and we've barely explored any of it.
You're right. It's easy to get focused on one cool discovery, but the context is important. We're talking about an area larger than all the U.S. national parks combined, and it's teeming with potential discoveries.
Seriously, it's mind-boggling. I mean, we literally know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean floor, right?
That's right. And that's what makes discoveries like this so thrilling. They remind us that there's still so much to explore and understand about our own planet right here on Earth.
And who knows what other wonders might be hidden down there, just waiting to be revealed.
Okay, I'm officially hooked on this road and everything it represents. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have, but there's still so much more to explore. We've talked about how this road formed, its connection to plate tectonics, and even hinted at those amazing life forms that live around those hydrothermal vents. And we've just scratched the surface.
So what's next on our journey down this deep-sea rabbit hole? What other fascinating insights do you have for us?
Well, in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to take a closer look at those hydrothermal vent ecosystems and explore how this road might be shaping these unique underwater communities. Get ready to meet some truly bizarre and fascinating creatures that call these vents home. So, are you ready to dive deeper into those hydrothermal vent ecosystems?
Oh, absolutely. Last time you said they were like underwater hot springs, but I'm honestly still struggling to picture it. Like how can anything even survive down there?
It really is hard to wrap your head around. Just imagine pitch black depths, crazy pressure, and then boom, these massive vents just spewing out super hot water filled with minerals.
It sounds pretty intense, more like a sci-fi movie than something on our planet.
Right. It's like something out of this world, but it's all happening right here on Earth. So you've got this incredibly hostile environment, and somehow these creatures not only survive, they thrive.
That's what gets me. How do they do it? Like it's so different from what we're used to.
That's the fascinating part. These ecosystems don't depend on sunlight at all, which is crazy because that's like the basis of life as we know it.
But that's how plants get their energy.
Exactly. But down there, they rely on something called chemosynthesis. These special bacteria actually use the chemicals spewing out of those vents, like hydrogen sulfide, to make energy.
Whoa, so these bacteria are like the plants of this whole alien world.
Pretty much. And that energy they produce is the foundation for the entire food chain down there.
So instead of a pyramid with plants at the bottom, it's these bacteria.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So what kind of creatures actually live down there? I mean, we're not talking about fish and dolphins, right? Oh, definitely not. We're talking about some seriously strange and amazing life forms, like giant tube worms. Some of them can grow over 6 feet tall, and they have these bright red plumes that act like gills.
6 feet tall, that's huge. And wait, you said plumes? Like feathers?
Yeah, they're these feathery structures that help the worms take in oxygen and other stuff from the water. But here's the kicker, they don't even have a mouth or a digestive system.
What? How do they eat?
They have this symbiotic relationship with those bacteria we talked about.
Symbiotic, so they live together.
Yeah, the bacteria actually live inside the worms. The worms give the bacteria a safe place to hang out, and the bacteria provide the worms with energy through chemosynthesis.
So they're like living apartments for these energy-producing bacteria.
Exactly. It's a win-win for both of them. And then you've got these swarms of blind shrimp crawling all over the vents, thousands of them. And get this, they have this special organ on their backs that can sense the heat from the vents.
Wait a minute, blind shrimp that can see heat. What is this, a science fiction movie?
I know, it's incredible, right? They use that heat-sensing organ to navigate in the pitch black. And then there are snails and crabs that have adapted to handle the intense heat and pressure.
This is seriously blowing my mind. And I bet there are tons of tiny organisms down there we haven't even discovered yet, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole world of microscopic life down there, bacteria, archaea, all sorts of things we're just starting to identify.
It's like a whole separate branch of life evolved completely differently down there. A hidden world with its own rules.
It really is. And that's what makes these vent ecosystems so valuable to science. It's like getting a glimpse into the potential for life in other extreme environments.
Like on other planets.
Exactly. Maybe even on some of the icy moons in our solar system. Who knows?
Okay, chills.
Yeah.
So back to this road we found. How does it all connect to these vent ecosystems?
Right. Well, remember how we talked about the columnar jointing creating those cracks and fractures in the rock? Scientists think those fissures could be super important for the vents.
Okay, I'm following. Tell me more.
Think of it like this. The cracks are like channels guiding that hot, mineral-rich water flowing out of the vents. And that could be creating all these little unique environments within the bigger ecosystem.
So like little pockets with different temperatures and different chemicals and stuff.
Yeah.
And that could mean different life forms in different spots.
You got it. One crack might be perfect for those giant tube worms, while another supports a whole community of heat-sensing shrimp. It's like a city with different neighborhoods, each with their own special character.
It's mind-blowing. So basically, this road is like an underwater architect, shaping not just the landscape, but the life that can exist there too. It's like one thing leads to another.
I like how you put that. It's a domino effect. One geological formation leads to a whole chain of events that impact life in these ecosystems.
And that's why this discovery is so huge, right? It's not just a cool rock formation. It's a key to understanding how life works in these crazy environments and maybe even beyond.
You got it. It shows how everything is connected and how much we still have to learn. It's not just about finding cool stuff down there, it's about understanding the big picture.
This has been an incredible journey so far. From a mysterious road to a whole alien ecosystem fueled by underwater volcanoes. And I know there's more to come, right? What else is there to explore on this deep dive?
We've talked about the amazing science, but this discovery also raises some important questions about how we treat the ocean. In the last part of our deep dive, we'll explore some of those ethical and philosophical implications.
I feel like we've traveled to another planet exploring this road on the ocean floor.
It's amazing, isn't it? This incredible world right here on our planet, hidden in the depths of the ocean. And that brings us to a really important point, the ethical side of all this.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in the excitement of the science, but we do need to think about the impacts we could have on these places.
Absolutely. The deep ocean has always been this kind of final frontier, a vast and unexplored realm. And as technology gets better, it's becoming more accessible, not just for scientists, but unfortunately also for exploitation.
Exploitation. What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, there's a lot of interest in deep sea mining right now.
Ah.
The minerals and rare earth elements found around hydrothermal vents.
Oh, right. They're super valuable, aren't they? I guess it makes sense from a business perspective, but it sounds risky too.
It does. These ecosystems are so unique and fragile, and we're only just starting to understand how they work. What if mining just destroys them before we even know what we're losing?
That's what worries me. It feels like we could be trading incredible biodiversity and scientific knowledge for a quick buck.
It's a tough call. That's where the ethical questions come in. Do we have the right to exploit these resources, even if it means potentially wiping out species we haven't even discovered yet? And what about our responsibility to future generations? These are big questions.
It's a delicate balance, finding ways to explore and learn about the deep ocean without messing things up.
Definitely. And that means careful planning, really strict regulations, and respecting how everything is connected down there. And of course, it highlights how important continued scientific research is. The more we know, the better we can protect these incredible ecosystems.
This whole thing has really hit home for me. This road isn't just some cool rock formation. It's a reminder that we're all connected to this huge living planet. And what we do in one place, even at the bottom of the ocean, can affect everything else.
That's a really important point. As we keep exploring the deep ocean, we need to do it responsibly and with respect for the amazing things we find down there.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much, not just about the science, but about how we should think about our relationship with the planet.
It's been my pleasure. I hope it's inspired everyone listening to learn more about the ocean and to become advocates for protecting it. It's crucial for all of us.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonders and responsibilities of ocean exploration. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions.